13. The Secret of the Mouse Treasure. The treasure that Pete's lost ancestor had taken with him to cross the Atlantic did not consist of gold coins, pearls, and jewels, as one might have expected. For years and years, what had been resting in this little chest at the bottom of the sea was a book. It was the diary of an inventor. With mounting astonishment, Pete and the professor looked through the yellowed pages. The handwritten notes described hard times in the mouse world, with pitch-black mouse caves and predators lurking in the dark shadows. But they also found drawings and designs that were meant to make mouse life simpler and safer. Pete and the professor found one of these inventions particularly fascinating. Right at the end of the little book were ideas for a special apparatus, a pear-shaped glass object with some wires inside. But where the final design should have been, there was nothing. The last 2 pages were missing. Someone had torn them out. "Pete, show me your ancestor's letter again," said the professor. Pete rummaged in his bag. He pulled out the piece of paper that had started this whole adventure. "Here it is." He gave the paper to the professor. "What are you thinking?" "Just an idea." The page fit. The letter from Pete's ancestor was one of the 2 missing pages. The 2 mice read more of the now almost complete diary. "But there's still a page missing," said Pete. The professor carefully looked through all the inventions, paying special attention to the strange glass object with wires inside. Then he looked at the photos on the wall. "Eureka!" he cried, and went rushing out. "What have you found?" asked Pete, hurrying after him. He could hardly keep up with the old mouse. The professor climbed up a bookcase, pushed some of the cloth-bound books to one side, and opened a thick encyclopedia. "A, B, C, D, E," he murmured to himself. "What are you doing, Professor?" asked Pete, who was now standing by the bookcase and had no idea why the professor was getting so excited. "Now I know what happened to your ancestor and to his invention." There he was. It was the same mouse with the funny handlebar mustache, Pete's long-lost ancestor. In this photo, too, he was posing proudly for the camera, although you needed a magnifying glass to see him, and so he had survived. He had not gone down with the ship and his treasure. This was proved by the date of the photo, which had been taken much later. The proud little mouse inventor was holding a piece of paper, and the edge was jagged. It had to be the page that was missing from the diary. When he escaped from the sinking ship, he obviously couldn't take the whole of his treasure with him, and so he had torn out the most important page. And when Pete and the professor looked very, very closely, they could actually see what was on the page. A light bulb. But no, not a light bulb. It was the very first light bulb. "Who is the man in the picture?" asked Pete. "He was a great human inventor," said the professor. "Apparently, his greatest invention was made with the help of a certain mouse." Pete slowly spelled out the name that accompanied the photo. Thomas A. Edison. The end. The historical facts. The invention of the electric light. For many people, the name Thomas Alva Edison is mainly associated with the invention of the electric light bulb, but it would be more accurate to say that he improved its efficiency and made it into a marketable product. Who really invented it remains controversial. It may not have been a mouse who got the first wire to glow, but during the 19th century, there were many inventors and engineers who contributed to the development of the light bulb. In 1802, the English chemist Sir Humphry Davy succeeded in getting a platinum filament to glow. In 1809, he invented the carbon arc lamp, in which an electric current passed through two graphite electrodes and formed an arc of light between them. Some people regard the Scottish inventor James Bowman Lindsay as the true inventor of the light bulb. He demonstrated continual electric lighting in 1835. The first patent was taken out in 1841 by the English inventor Frederick Desmoulins, who produced a light with powdered charcoal and fine platinum wires in an airless glass cylinder. In 1860, the British physicist and chemist Joseph Wilson Swan constructed an electric light bulb for everyday use, and he patented it in England in 1878, 2 years before Edison patented his in the United States. In Germany, many people regarded Heinrich Goebel, who emigrated to the United States, as the real inventor. He claimed to have produced light with carbon filaments in empty perfume bottles in 1854. However, he was unable to prove his case when the matter went to court. Thomas Alva Edison. Thomas A. Edison was one of the most important inventors and entrepreneurs who launched the age of electricity in the 19th century. Even as a young man, he made his mark by improving existing techniques of telegraphy. The telegraph was a means of sending simple message by passing electric signals through a wire. In the course of his life, Edison created numerous inventions, including the phonograph, an apparatus that could record sounds and replay them. Most people, however, think of him as the man who introduced electric lighting. In the mid-19th century, existing methods of using electric currents to produce light were very unreliable and less suitable for daily use than the far more common gas lamp. This all changed with the light bulb that Edison developed in 1879 and patented a year later. A carbon filament produced the light inside an airless glass container. These bulbs initially provided light for almost 15 hours, but during the years that followed, Edison was able to prolong their life considerably. He was also the driving force behind the electrification of New York. Many other cities followed suit, and his companies expanded the networks and manufactured huge quantities of light bulbs. Thomas A. Edison, 1847 to 1931, spent his entire life in the United States. He took out well over 1,000 patents, but his name will forever be linked with the electric light bulb. The screw form is still sometimes called the Edison screw base. The author. Torben Kuhlmann was born in Solingen, Germany in 1982 and studied illustration and communication design at the Hochschule für Angewandte Wissenschaften, Hamburg. He finished his studies in 2012 with the picture book, English title, Lindbergh, The Tale of a Flying Mouse, which was published soon afterward by Nordsud Verlag. It very quickly became a bestseller and has now been translated into more than 30 languages. The picture book, English title, Armstrong, The Adventurous Journey of a Mouse to the Moon, published in 2016, tells the story of a mouse's first flight into space. In Edison, the third volume in this series about adventurous mice, the hero does not soar to hair-raising heights, but dives to the deepest depths of the ocean.